Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We're talking Wednesday, June 11th. I'm going to have 3 home run picks for you guys to lock in for today's MLB betting slate. So the Dawn Report's definitely back in your life with 3 guys that I do really like. Before we get into that, let's do a recap from yesterday, which, hey, we got a guy to hit a home run. Of course, it was the guy with the highest odds, and it was also the guy that I put a lower unit size on because of the higher odds. You know, if I had just played this for a quarter unit, it would have been an amazing day yesterday, but I did not. And I can only be fair and consistent with what I track. So we were able to make money yesterday. That's always important, to make money. Up about 0.3 units. You know, we're not going to win the lottery with that type of profit, but it's at least better than losing money. So thank you to Alec Thomas for coming through. Incredibly juicy odds at plus 1,060. You know, I do find the irony in that I'm just on this epic, brutal cold streak, and the one guy that I get to hit a home run is the guy with the odds over plus 1,000. So hopefully we can kind of continue some of that magic. But Christian Encarnacion Strand, Tyler Stevenson, Ketel Marte, none of them hit home runs. So again, up 0.3 units yesterday. That now brings our losses. So we are still down on the year, 4.23 units. That we are down on the year, down about 6% ROI. Now, if you blindly put 1 unit on every single home run, you're still down on the year, but the guy yesterday, Alec Thomas, would have put a huge dent into that amount. So again, hopefully we can kind of continue that good luck that we had yesterday in finally getting ourselves on a good run here on the Dong Report. I appreciate everybody who's been rocking with me through the cold streak. It's been mostly positive comments, which I appreciate. And the mean comments, most of them make me laugh. People coming in and saying, I just watch these every day to make sure I know who not to play, which those always make me laugh. That's creative and funny. Regardless, as for today, again, Wednesday, June 11th, pretty juicy slate of games from a weather perspective today. We see a lot of games in the green, according to Ballpark Pal, Angel Stadium, Brewer Stadium, Met Stadium, all in the green. We see a lot of positive ones as well. We see here Oriole Park, Fenway Park. I will have some plays in some of these green and some of these positive games, but just want to make sure that we are looking at multiple sources here to make sure that we are consistent with, not just looking at one source, basically. In the games that are in agreement, that are juicy, are Reds, Guardians, which I'll give you guys a lean for that. The Athletics Angels is mostly average, but it's a good home run park. So that's why you see it in the green here, according to Ballpark Pal, plus 19%, because the stadium is plus 12%. So the weather, Ballpark Pal is higher on the weather, but at least it's a good stadium. And then the Orioles Tigers, I do have a play in this one as well. That is definitely one of the juicier games from both perspectives, almost plus 20% according to Weather Edge, and plus 7% according to Ballpark Pal. But from a weather perspective, they both agree that it's positive. So that's good. And then the other play that I have is in a dome. So we'll talk about that. But we'll start with our first play. Lowest in terms of odds is Riley Green. We are taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 400 odds at a couple places. At FanDuel is the most common one, which is where I locked it in. This is just my Tails account where I send everything up first. So if you don't want to watch the YouTube videos or you don't always have time, this is the way to tail. But we're going with Riley Green to hit a home run at plus 400. So there's a couple of things here with Riley Green. Now, if you look at his game log, you're going to say, oh, is this guy ice cold at the plate? He hasn't hit a home run since May 30th. So he has not hit a home run in the month of June. It's been, 11 days? 11 days into June, probably about 9 to 10 games that he hasn't hit a home run. It's not like he's ice cold at the plate. He went through this kind of rough stretch here where he got 0 hits. But in this same stretch of games, 2 hits, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 hits yesterday, 2 hits the day before that. Obviously, you want to look at, is he hitting the ball hard? And the answer to that question is mostly yes. Now, we had some games here where 0 hard hits in these 3, 0 hard hits in these 2. But 2 hard hits, 1 barrel, 4 hard hits, 1 barrel. And then yesterday, which is really what made me feel good about taking Riley Green, hardest hit of the game, double, 110 miles an hour off the bat. Just needed to get a little bit above that for it to be a home run. Also had a single, 103 miles per hour off the bat. And then I believe he had another hard hit. I thought he had 3. Yeah, he had 3 hard hits yesterday. 2 of them were absolutely annihilated. And then the other one was a flyout that was put in the air. So 3 hard hits, 2 of them put in the air, one of them a line drive, one of them a fly ball That's a good sign. And then you look at his last game prior to yesterday, which would have been Sunday, so he had Monday off. He did not hit a home run on Sunday, but look how hard he hit this baseball. He hit one 406 feet. Somehow this was not a home run, but it was 406 feet. If you're hitting a ball 400 plus feet, you're in good enough home run form for me. And then you take a step back and you look at Riley Green. You look at him on the year, best barrel rate, and let me zoom in. Actually, no, this is about good. Best barrel rate on the Tigers against right-handed pitching, which is what he's going to be facing in Zach Eflin. We'll talk about that. That's on the year. 21% barrel rate against righties is really, really good. On the entire season, 18% barrel rate. That's really, really good. You look at the last 30 days, barrel rate of 23%. That's really good. Against righties specifically, up to 29%. That's really good. Now, he strikes out a decent amount. 37% strikeout rate on the last 30 days, 30% on the year. That means he's swinging for the fences. So his percentage numbers are always going to be a little bit better because strikeouts don't count towards your batted ball numbers. But that's okay because, again, it kind of means that he's just swinging for the fences. And, he's got a really good ISO rate against righties and all that stuff. So been hitting the ball hard. Now, the guy's going up against Zach Eflin. Dong machine. You look at him, especially against lefties, on the entire season. Really bad numbers against lefties across the board. 311 ISO rate is disgustingly bad. 371 WOBA. Only a 36% ground ball rate. Guys are hitting the ball in the air. 46% hard hit rate isn't terrible, but that K rate of 13% is really bad. Barrel rate, 12%. It's really disgusting numbers across the board. You look at Game Day Insights, another website that I look at. You look at Zach Eflin against lefties. Home run, and let me zoom in a little bit here. Home run almost, worse than every 10 at-bats. That's really, really bad. That's disgusting numbers across the board. It's a good weather game, no matter how you slice it. Really good, according to Weather Edge. Slightly good, according to Ballpark Pal. That means good in both books. So I really like going with Riley Green to hit a home run. Now, his batter versus pitcher history isn't great. Granted, it's 3 at-bats last year, 3 at-bats the year before that. Had a hard hit fly out that wasn't quite good enough to be a home run. Smoked a single, and then he had another unlucky line out. Again, 2 years ago, not making a huge deal about the batter versus pitcher mix or anything like that. And then the biggest issue is just the cutter, right? That's what gets nuked by righties against Zach Eflin. You look at the ISO rate allowed. The sinker, actually, I guess the sinker, or no, I want to look against lefties, excuse me. It's that cutter. That is a horribly bad ISO rate. And you look at Riley Green against cutters, really good ISO rate and really good barrel rate. 33% of the time he's barreling the ball up, which is really, really good. So all in all that stuff looks really good for Riley Green. He's definitely my favorite player in this game to hit a home run. One person that I just want to give a shout out to, and I don't know what's going on here, if he's not going to play tonight or whatever. Wenzel Perez, I don't want to totally butcher this person's name. There are no odds out for him right now. He's also hitting the ball very, very hard. He had good hits, good hard hits the last couple games. So when odds are released, make sure to check him out. There are no odds available for him right now. I didn't look into it. I don't know if he's hurt or if he's not in the everyday lineup or whatever, but he's definitely someone that you want to look at. He's a switch hitter, so maybe they're going to put in Parker Meadows over him tonight, but just someone to keep an eye on. But regardless, that's our first play, Riley Green to hit a home run. Next up, we're going to go with Corbin Carroll. We are taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 420 odds at FanDuel. So we're looking at Corbin Carroll. One thing that I want to mention here is from a strictly line shopping perspective, this was one of the highest rated positive EV plays of the day. 420 odds at FanDuel. Every other book except for Fanatics is in the low 300s, and then Fanatics is only at 355. So from a strictly line shopping positive expected value perspective, Corbin Carroll was the second best play of the day. Now FanDuel should theoretically always have the best odds on home runs because they don't give you a refund if the guy doesn't start. Corbin Carroll, it's unlikely he gets the day off. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's unlikely. So that's always a good sign when you're able to get a good discrepancy like that. And another thing that I want to mention is, so the pitching matchup that we are getting today is what I thought we were getting yesterday. Corbin Carroll was in the mid 300s yesterday. When I talked about it, I said I really liked Corbin Carroll, but I didn't like his odds. Now we're getting a better price at plus 420 than what I thought we were getting yesterday. Ketel Marte is another one that's good. plus 500 at Bet365, plus 390 at FanDuel. I kind of feel like his hot streak is over. He hasn't been hitting the ball great his last couple games. I went with him 2 games in a row. He didn't really do much 2 games in a row, so I decided to hold off and go with Corbin Carroll, who has been hitting very, very well. You look at Corbin Carroll yesterday. He had 2 hard hits. Both of them were crushed. And you look at Ketel Marte, who had 0 hard hits, and the Diamondbacks really hit this guy hard, Logan Evans, and then who came in after him. So the fact that Marte didn't do anything at the plate, 2 strikeouts, he did get walked twice, but 3 balls put in play, none of them hard hit, whereas Corbin Carroll, 2 hard hits, and they were both actually triples, and they were both annihilated. You look at him, 105.8 off the bat, triple. 104 off the bat, triple. 2 triples in the same game is crazy. But the matchup advantage is exactly what we talked about yesterday against Brian Wu. Brian Wu is a good pitcher, but he's really struggled against lefties, and it's his fastball that's really been the biggest issue. So you look at Brian Wu over his last 6 starts, right? Or excuse me, his last 5 starts. He's given up 6 home runs, home run every 25 or so at bats. That's not terrible. But let's look at lefties. 5 of the 6 home runs haven't hit against lefties. Home run every 13.2 at bats. That's very, very bad. 4 of those 5 have been hit off of his 4-seam fastball, which he throws about 50% of the time. So you kind of go more and more granular, more and more detailed. I'm not sure if I even use granular correctly. And you see that lefties hit his 4-seam fastball very, very hard. And then you look, all right, who are the left-handed hitters on the Diamondbacks that do the best job at hitting 4-seam fastballs? Ketel Marte's number 1, but as we mentioned, we're kind of off of him. You look at his numbers, it's been a little bit, about a week ago, he hit these 2 back-to-back home runs off of a fastball. But guess who's right there? Corbin Carroll. 20% barrel rate, 60% hard hit rate, hits a fly ball 38% of the time against the 4-seam fastball. You look at exit velo specifically, guess who's number 1? Corbin Carroll. He's hit the fastball very hard on the entire season. He's hit the fastball very hard recently. Now, you look at him, his EV logs, like one of the triples he hit yesterday was off of a 4-seam fastball, 106 basically miles per hour off of the bat. So you look at, again, Ketel Marte is going to show up a lot. Ketel Marte is going to show up a lot in terms of these same numbers: barrel rate current season, barrel rate 30 days, barrel rate against 4-seam fastballs. Number 1 is Marte, right? Number 2 is Corbin Carroll with the higher fly ball rate and all that stuff. So you can kind of go back and forth, but if you want to just take both and guess that one of those 2 guys is going to go yard, I wouldn't blame you for that. I'm not really spraying the board like I did when I couldn't have any success doing that. So I like the Corbin Carroll angle a little bit better, hitting the ball a little bit better recently. But again, I'm not really going to argue anybody with Marte. And if you want to say, hey, look at the difference between FanDuel and Bet365, I would understand that argument. So my official play was Corbin Carroll, but I do want to give Marte a shout out as well. That's play number 2. And then our third and final pick of the video, Nick Kurtz. We are taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 500 odds at FanDuel. He wasn't quite as good as Corbin Carroll in terms of a line shopping perspective, but still very good. 500 there. Most other books had him in the low 400s. This was another positive EV play, just not quite as highly positive EV as Corbin Carroll, but one play that I do really like. So the thing with Nick Kurtz is if you look at his game log and you forget that, of course, this is going to take forever to load. So we're going to look at him a different way. So he returned from injury 2 days ago, right? He's played 2 games since he came back from injury. 1 game, he didn't really do much. Yesterday, he really kind of started to show signs of life, like he was hitting the ball before he got hurt. You look at his EV logs, 105.6. Granted, this was a ground out, so nothing really that impressive there. But double, 105.3 miles per hour off the bat, 380 feet, home run in 14 to 30 ballparks, smoked. And then he also had a fly out that was almost 100 miles an hour off the bat, got a little too much under it, 45-degree launch angle, but 3 hits, 99.8 miles per hour or above, 2 of them in the mid 105 each. That's really, really good. Now we can go back to his game log. So you look at before he got hurt, right? He hasn't played since May 24th. And look at these, 3 barrels in 1 game, 1 barrel, 2 barrels, 1 barrel. Pretty decent number of hard hits as well. The guy had been hitting the ball really, really hard. And it's nice to see him show signs of life, also hitting the ball very hard. yesterday. Now, it's a good game from a home run perspective, according to Ballpark Pal, plus 19%. The stadium is plus 12. The weather is plus 8. And then Weather Edge has it more neutral, right? Basically average, but 78 miles an hour, slight winds blowing out. Definitely not bad weather. And so, again, Kurtz crushed the baseball. And we're looking at the pitching matchup here against Kyle Hendricks, who's pitching for the Angels. Not a good pitcher at all. You look at him. He's admittedly worse against righties. You know, you look at his barrel rate numbers and stuff. It's higher against right-handed hitters. He's also not anybody that should totally scare you off against a lefty either. I mean, you look at his numbers just on the year. 2.07 ISO rate allowed, 2.4 in his last 30 starts, 2.32 against lefties. All those numbers are terrible. The ground ball rate is 12% lower, so he's allowing guys to hit the ball in the air more. Granted, the hard hit rate is lower, so it kind of a little bit of a trade-off there. But the thing I wanted to show you is when Hendricks faces left-handed hitters, the pitch that he throws the most, Kyle Hendricks, is that changeup, 36% of the time, followed up by the sinker. Now, Kurtz doesn't have a ton of at-bats because he's been hurt, and he's also a young guy, so he doesn't have a ton of data. But the changeup specifically, which is what he's going to see the most, his numbers against it are insane. 30% barrel rate, 85% hard hit rate, 28% fly ball rate. Now, he's hitting some ground outs, but then like 435-foot home run, 107 feet. 415-foot home run, 108 miles per hour off the bat, 110 miles per hour off the bat, just a little bit too low of a launch angle. Hit changeups very, very hard. The sinker doesn't have as many at-bats against. It's 6 at-bats, so it's hard to get. One of them was hard hit, a couple were not. Hard to get a really good idea of that. And then the four-seam fastball, which he's only going to see 18% of the time, he's just absolutely crushed. I mean, 27% barrel rate, 50% hard hit rate, 60% fly ball rate. I mean, if he sees a fastball, he's going to absolutely annihilate it. So I really like Nick Kurtz to hit a home run. This is our third and final pick of the video. So the 3 official guys that we are rocking with today, Riley Green, Corbin Carroll, and Nick Kurtz, both of them, or all 3 of them, best offered on FanDuel. Pretty, not super stinky odds, but also not super juicy, like plus 1,000, but pretty good across the board. I do have some leans that I wanted to give you guys. Now, the other guy on the A's that I really, really considered was Maxwell Muncy, the guy on the A's, not the Dodgers, Maxwell Muncy. He's also been hitting the ball pretty hard recently. Now, he didn't have a good day yesterday, but he had a couple good days prior to that. He's got the best barrel rate against righties over the last 30 days. And on the season, he's got a good barrel rate against righties. I guess 7.5% isn't great, but he's been really hot recently. He hit a home run in like 3 or 4 games. He didn't have a great day yesterday. So, Muncy is another a great play. And then there's a lot of Angels guys that looked really good, but the problem are the odds. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. So we're looking at these Angels guys. Taylor Ward, it has the best odds at plus 400, but Trout, plus 300. Joe Adell, plus 320 is best offer price. O'Hoppe, plus 350. Zach Neto, plus 310. Those guys, except for really Trout, should not be below plus 400. The reason they're all priced disgustingly low is because they're going up against JP Sears. Now, these 2 teams saw each other in May, and they crushed JP Sears. I mean, just annihilated him. I can kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So you go to his game log. That game that these 2 teams played, he allowed 4 home runs and 5 innings pitched. Now, that was at home. And the thing with JP Sears, he's much, much worse at home than he is on the road. The reason for that is he's a fly ball pitcher, and the Athletics play in this kind of minor league stadium with very short outfield. So a fly ball pitcher like him, I mean, look at his last couple home starts, 2 home runs, 4 home runs. 1 home run isn't terrible, 1 home run across the board. But his away starts, he had a bad one against the Astros. But other than that, his away starts haven't been as bad. So I do wonder if his numbers are a little bit inflated because of the stadium he plays at. Because if you look at his road splits, they're a lot more reasonable at plus 125. So I wonder if we're paying too much because of the batter versus pitcher matchup. If I had to take a guy on the Angels, it would be Taylor Ward, because we're getting the best odds on him at plus 400. And I kind of see these guys almost as interchangeable. But I felt like I was forcing it just to have a play against the pitcher, so I decided not to. And then I already mentioned him, but Wenzel Perez, there are no odds on him. I'm not sure why, but he's just been hitting the ball really hard, so just someone to keep an eye on. But that's all we got. So 3 official bangers for you guys to lock in. If you do want to parlay the 3 of them together, obviously the best offer price is going to be on FanDuel. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Make sure to bet responsibly, and have a good one.